pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to go with the presentation. So Mr. Hall, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this point in time, it's always an honor to get to announce our building level Teachers of the Year and also our district-wide Teachers of the Year. When you say number one, you've been selected by your peers. It is an honor to be named this. The winner of this does get a chance, Ms. Keaton, I guess, to go on and participate statewide Teacher of the Year. So that's always a great honor also as well. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your time and effort. Thank you for always putting children first. And Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and get started first with pre-K through 4 from Birchfield Elementary School. If you'll come forward and stand up here after I call your name, then Mr. Jacob Story. Jacob teaches 4th grade math. Also from Birchfield Elementary School, grade 5 through 8, Mr. Grant Markham. Grant teaches 8th grade social studies and 1 class of ELA. Pre-K through 4 division, Fairview Elementary School, Ms. Michaela Miller. Michaela teaches kindergarten. Grades 5 through 8 from Fairview Elementary School, Ms. Claudia Baer. Claudia teaches 4th and 5th grade science and social studies. From the Huntsville schools, Huntsville Elementary School, grades pre-K through 4, Ms. Andrea Kreis. Andrea teaches kindergarten. And from Huntsville Middle School, Ms. Brooke West. Brooke teaches 5th and 6th grade social studies. From Robbins Elementary School, in the pre-K through 4 division, is Tony Lane, 2nd grade. She cannot be here. From Robbins Elementary School, the grades 5 through 8 division, is Ms. Elizabeth Carroll, 5th and 6th grade ELA. Pre-K through 4 division from Winfield Elementary School, Tristan Rector, 2nd grade. Also from Winfield Elementary School, grades 5 through 8, is Darby Laxton, 6th, 7th, 8th grade social studies and science. Ninth through 12th division, Scott High School, Ms. Keisha Bass, ELA 11th grade, ELA Honors 11, and English 12.
Y'all scoot all the way in just a little bit more. Sorry, ready? You in there, Mr. Stanley? Get in there. 1, 2, 3. Here we go again. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
If y'all will stay right there, I'll announce the 2024-25 Teachers of the Year in each division. But first, I want to go with our sponsorship that we had for this year. The following items were donated by the following businesses: First National Bank, $50. United Cumberland Bank, $50. Plateau Electric, $50 credit on your electric bill. You name it, embroidery, a gift certificate, and the Scott County Board of Education, $150. In the pre-K through 4 division, the winner for Scott County Teacher of the Year is Andrea Kreis, Huntsville Elementary.
Thank you.
Scott County Teacher of the Year, 5th through 8th grade. The Teacher of the Year, Ms. Elizabeth Carroll, Robbins Elementary. Teacher of the Year in the 9th through 12th Division from Scott High School is Keisha Bass.
Winners of your speech there. All of us, or sorry?
Just those two.
Okay.
We're all like, do we look?
Ready? 1, 2, 3. We're doing it. 1, 2, 3.
Thank each of you all for what you do. Thank you guys.
I gotta get on a chair.
And Mr. Chairman, that does conclude our presentations. Scott County Board of Education, month of January.
Okay, any principals? Everything bad? Okay, need to turn this back over to Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First thing I would like to announce is tomorrow, Scott County Schools will be operating on a 2-hour delay. Guys, let me say this. We know there are some roads that we still can't get buses on, and some of those, number one is East Robbins, Pine Hill area, Sugar Grove Road, Hurricane Road, the Bud West Road, and also the Rob Watson Road. There may be one or two more out there. That's what Mr. Bowles has told me as of just 10 minutes ago. For those ones that the parents can't get them out, I would like the principals to work with these people as far as on the attendance. Because we do need to start trying to get back into having school. And I will say this much. Calling all schools, possibly it could be one of the toughest jobs sitting here, responsibilities that you have to do. Because anybody can look around and see that every main road we have is clear, and people wonder why I'm not having school until you get out there on these roads. And some of them are still treacherous, some are still slick. We know that they're improving. We know they will continue to improve tomorrow as the temperature begins to rise. But we take that as when I sit here, and I know that our accountability falls, and I know that we'll always put safety first in that decision. So like I said, there will be some roads that we will not run on tomorrow. Like I said, hopefully the roads will continue to improve tomorrow. Parents, if you can get those kids there, we greatly appreciate it. But if you can't, we understand, and the principals will work with you in those scenarios. Again, Scott County Schools, 2 hours late tomorrow. At this point in time, we have used 9 snow days. So we have 4 left. You know, when this right here, this snow hit us, it's supposed to be a significant amount. We didn't get what they thought. But when it came, it froze, and there was ice underneath it, and it's just not left. We've been able to play some basketball games with the fact of if you get jammed and backlogged in the games, especially district games, it's hard to make those up. You have to with the state. But we also made sure each kid can get to and from safely. And also, where we went to, there was no thing that would hinder any type of traffic. So that was some reason the decisions with that. But as I said, tomorrow Scott County Schools will be 2 hours late. Biggest thing right now is we need to look at, of course, the voucher bill. We know we do have to vote on some things tonight. And I've seen each of you, I guess something from the TOSS, Representative Mr. Gary Lilly was talking about the myths, the things of the voucher, and what's there and what's not. There's a special call session at the end of this month that Governor Lee is pushing, and right now, when I was at my superintendent meeting on Tuesday, feel like it's very close, or he has the votes. Very confident, or he felt like he wouldn't do it. There are some things that's really agitated me in here, I won't say live on there, but as far as some things that are tied with it. you know, with some, things that, to me, I can't fathom. But that was what the word was given to us the other day. But we're still gonna fight until at the end. You know, as you can see, we have all the accountability that comes with us for all the testing. You know, each private school takes a national norm test. There is no accountability that's given to the public. There is not the strenuous things that are tied on it with the TCAT. And a parent will see it, but there's nothing held, there's no accountability. We know the things we've asked some of the legislators is, well, parents will hold them accountable. And I'm thinking, we're held accountable to the public daily. We want that accountability because our teachers are good teachers, and our principals are good principals, and they're good leaders, and they're effective, and we're growing. But make it fair. Make it fair. If you put that on, if you add that into it, and you give that money towards a private sector, then that same accountability should go with that. And guys, we educate all. That's the beauty of what we do, not just Scott County, but everywhere. Educates all in the public school system. And we have as good of programs as you can offer. The special education for behavior. We have everything that you can offer a student here in Scott County. We're very proud of that fact that we can. We're also very proud to educate all. Your private sector doesn't. They don't have to. They can select who they want, when they want, where they want. There's also some things coming in the pipe with this, with the TWSAA. If this passes, TWSAA more than likely will allow a one-time transfer rule. That's coming also. So and their thing is that legislature is going to force them into doing it once this passes. And like I said, we're going to stand against it. If it was equal and fair and the same, and all the accountability was the same, I would ask you guys to pass this and vote for this tonight. Tonight, I'm going to ask you that we send a resolution, we pass it to stand against it, send a resolution to our legislators, let them know where we stand. And I appreciate what you guys do, the time and effort you took and looked at it. I know Ms. Tress has made some calls, talked to some people, I guess at TSBA, and I urge you to reach out to our legislators the next couple of weeks, because they need to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
You know, and Governor Lee paints a good picture when he got his thing on the TV and it talks about this. And guys, we're all about school choice. You know, if we have people here and they want to send their kids somewhere, that's to me that's school choice. And it ain't about taking money from that public sector, putting it in the private sector with no accountability. And your cheapest private school in the Knoxville area is going to cost you around $13,000 per year. Most run at $20,000. And plus, you know, if they drive them to Knoxville, you got to think of gas in accordance with all that too. We have school choice here. You know, our parents are allowed to choose. They make that choice. You know, whether elementary, middle, high. You know what they want to do. We get kids from the Oneida area come to us. We get kids when I was going to them. As long as they do it the time frame, that's school choice. And the money stays in the public sector where it needs to be. So anyway, again, guys, thank you for what you've done standing against this. The last thing I want to go is that Board Appreciation Week will be January 27th through 31st. And I'll go ahead and tell you again, thank you for what you do. Thank you for your support. Thank you for standing up for your schools, not just your area, but for all schools. Guys, we're in these positions, and all these people here, they started this profession because they wanted to make a difference. One teacher made me want to be a teacher because of the impact that I got from my teachers. And these guys are the same way. And there's going to be people in those classes right now that's going to graduate this year. Somebody's going to make an impact on them. They're going to want to be a teacher. And that is the thing, is you give back. And again, thank you guys for what you do always. And may you have a great Board Appreciation Week. So guys, that's all I have, unless y'all have questions for me.
I've got one question, sir, if that's
Yes.
okay. The state funding is supposed to be held harmless.
Yes.
Is that what TOS, okay? Now, but that does not include local funding, is that
That
correct?
does not include the local funding as far as, what they're saying for 1 year, he held harmless, okay? And what they're saying is at that point in time, there'll be things where it'll change, you'll
Oh,
see.
yes, yeah. They also
And then
said-
apparently they're gonna put it back on the local districts to make up the amount of funding.
But there's no homeschooling or no?
No money for the homeschool, no.
Church.
No money in the homeschool. You have to be an accredited, approved,
Okay,
I think it's on the list. I don't have that in front of me right now.
okay, I think,
But I know you have to be approved and accredited. And there's certain different categories that are accredited and that aren't accredited. I've had some homeschool parents reach up to me and ask, and I'm thinking, no, it's not part of, the legislation that's going through. And the big thing was, I was kind of surprising, last year when we went down in front of, sit in on legislation, there was several homeschool parents and students were there that were standing against the voucher. That's kind of surprising to me. And the thing was, they didn't want it because they didn't want the strings that come attached to it, is what they said. So homeschool is not part of the bill as of right now. There could be changes between now and a couple of weeks. I do know that the bills put forward is, last year there was a House bill separate from the Senate bill. This year the House and Senate's put forth one bill. And like I said, he seems pretty confident right now that he has the votes that will pass it. So we'll see. We still have a couple of weeks to work. But thank you for your question. Sorry, comes back to you.
This brings us to item number 7. In accordance with Board Policy number 1.403, the Scott County Board of Education shall adopt an agenda of all items to be acted upon during the regular monthly meeting of January 16th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Vote on roll call.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Shelton? Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley? Dr. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox?
Item 8, in accordance with the Scott County Board of Education Policy 4.403, the Board of Education may include routine and non-controversial items on the consent agenda, which may be adopted by a single vote without discussion. Any item on the consent agenda may be removed and placed on the regular agenda for further consideration at the request of any board member. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote on roll call.
Mr. Silcox? Ms. King? Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Dr. Murphy?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Shelton? Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Item 9A, board approval is needed for out-of-state and overnight trips. I will not read those unless someone requests it. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Any discussion? Vote on roll call.
Mr. Shelton? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox? Dr. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. King? Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Item 9B, in pursuant to board policy number 2.201, the Scott County Board of Education needs to approve budget amendments required to balance the budget for the fiscal year 2024-2025. This action will allow funds to be applied to areas of the budget that lack sufficient funds to complete the school year. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote on roll call.
Dr. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Shelton? Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye. Item 9C, in accordance with board policy number 1.800, the Scott County Board of Education shall no later than the end of the school year, upon the recommendation of the Director of Schools, adopt an official school calendar for the succeeding school year. One teacher from each school will be appointed to serve as calendar committee members.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Sir, just looking at the calendar, when do we do TCAPs?
TCAP was set forth by the state. Normally, it's the EOC window for Scott High School is normally like the first week of December. Is that correct?
It's a 2-week window.
2-week window.
Yeah.
And then your TCAP normally starts after spring break. Is that right? It's been normally about the third week of April.
About the
You have is a 3-week window also in there too? Is it 2-week?
It is.
It is. So normally it's after we get back from spring break on the TCAP. Like I said, it's normally like the third week.
We really don't have the exact dates.
As of right now,
We
no.
don't do.
So you think it's gonna be 2 weeks after spring break? You think that's gonna be the norm? Okay. That's my only question.
And you do have the calendar in front of you there if you have any questions. It's a good calendar. You guys did a good job.
Ms. Keaton, do you have anything to add to the calendar question?
No, it was a consensus. Everybody agreed. It was a good agreement. I'm sure everybody is not as happy as some, I mean, we did have some differing opinions, but everybody came together.
It was the most congenial calendar committee meeting I've ever been to. So, and
We
I've been
didn't
to some
fuss
that's
or
not that
anything.
good. But this went very well today, didn't it?
Okay, then let's, do I have a motion?
You'll have a motion in a second.
Okay, then vote on roll call.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King? Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Dr. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox? Mr. Shelton?
Brings us to item 9D, board policy number 1.106, section 5, states that the school district may create an ethics committee consisting of 3 members serving a 1-year term. The ethics committee shall be charged with responding to questions or complaints regarding any possible violations of the code of ethics. At least 2 members of the committee shall be members of the Board of Education. Lou Stanley, in his capacity as chair of the board, Angie King, and Diane Smith have been recommended to serve as the ethics committee for 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, vote on roll call.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Mr. Shelton?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox? Dr. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Item 9E, approval is needed by the board to amend board policies as recommended by TSBA. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote on roll call.
Mr. Silcox? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Shelton?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King? Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Dr. Murphy?
Aye.
9F, board approval is needed for membership with the OMNIA Partners Program.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote on roll call.
Mr. Shelton?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Dr. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Item 9G, a number of bids, contracts, and applications must be made each year to ensure communication connectivity for the Scott County school system. Authorization is requested to allow the Office of the Director of Schools to complete all necessary paperwork to extend or renew existing multiple-year contracts with our current communication vendors, and to advertise for new services in areas which may be needed. This includes all necessary steps to request E-rate funding for the 2025-2026 school year. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Not vote on roll call.
Mr. Silcox? Dr. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Mr. Shelton?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Item 9H, resolution opposing the Education Freedom Act. Resolution opposing the Educational Savings Account legislation, Education Freedom Act, proposed by Governor Bill Lee, would propose a voucher program for education. Does
I'll make a motion on that.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote on roll call.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Kidd?
Aye.
Ms. King?
Aye.
Mr. Stanley?
Aye.
Dr. Murphy?
Aye.
Mr. Silcox?
Aye.
Mr. Shelton?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Silcox, you have anything?
Thank you, Scott High, Birchfield, Huntsville Elementary, for the gifts. Thank you very much. Appreciate what everybody does. And we're going to start school tomorrow.
Ms. Smith?
I want to thank you all for the gifts that you bring into us. It makes coming out here to these meetings in the middle of the day a little more worthwhile, but it makes you feel appreciated. So thank you for that.
Mr. Shelton?
Thank you all for everything you do. I'm excited we're having school tomorrow. And then just congratulations to all the teachers of the year. I got to have Miss Andrea with my daughter in kindergarten. She's awesome, so special shout out to her.
Ms. Kim?
Thank you, everyone. Huntsville, Birchfield, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate all the teachers that were here. I know they all work hard and they do a wonderful job, as well as you all do too.
Ms. Angie?
I just want to say thank you to the principals for protecting our children every day. Because, I mean, you're at the front door, you're first in line, and you keep them safe every day. And we have people here at the board that work every day to see that that happens. And at technology, they're looking in all day, and that's what we need. We need to know that our kids are safe. And I just appreciate everybody for that and all they do for the kids. And I thank you for the gifts.
Ms. Trixler?
I want to thank you for the gifts also, and like, I'm going to piggyback on her. Our children are our best resources, and we have a great output of our students. They go out in the world and they're ready to go. No matter what field they want to go in, they're ready. And so I appreciate that, appreciate the teachers and doing all that. The second thing I want to look at, or just remind us, is that we're looking at funding, replacing laptops at the end of this year. Is that correct, Mr.?
That'd be correct, yes.
Okay. So we may be thinking about that and what we want to do.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day tomorrow.
I was going to ask about the email that we got sent about the Power School
Yeah, I was on this.
security breach. When we get those emails, or parents get those emails, is there anything we need to do to answer it? You know, respond?
While I've got Mr. Beatty and Mr. Bond here, I'll briefly go, and then I'll turn over to Mr. Bond and Mr. Beatty both. Of course, we got the notice of the breach from the Power School stating that it was, they had, I guess, received our data, Scott County Schools, but we weren't the only school system. Tennessee, not in Tennessee, not in East Tennessee, or not in, across the country. This was a nationwide breach. They were held ransom by someone in Ukraine, is my gathering, and they had to pay a ransom, Power School did. The information was deleted that they saw. What they're telling us, Power School, and I was reaching out to Greg daily with things. Mr. Beatty has adopted something for us to put out. We put out notice on the website. We'll be sending, once we get everybody here, we'll give a letter, send home to the parents. So that's kind of short of it, and I'll turn over to Mr. Bond.
We sent notice out, employees, to set it, put it on the website, put it out in the newspaper, made it on the Channel 6 yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't specific to us,
No.
but we are included in it. And right now, still haven't received a whole lot as far as what next steps are from Power School. And the state, basically, right now, they're just telling us to report to them what has happened. Not, you know, we do everything that they ask, but it, you know, if people have questions about credit monitoring or whether or not they're certain that their data is secure, we've not received any of those answers yet. I'm confident that the hacker got our data, and it comprised social security numbers for students, staff, you know, but whether or not it got deleted is anybody's guess. I would assume if this person made as much money as what I'm hearing, which I've heard rumors of upwards of $10 million, then it would behoove them to delete it, just, you know, so that the next time they hold somebody for ransom, that it's kind of an honor amongst thieves type thing. But we'll never know until, you know, people start getting different, you know, when kids start getting credit hits and stuff like that, that's when you'll know. What we're doing locally is removing the data from Power School that we can. We've removed it for all students and switched over to PIN numbers, but the state's data system isn't taking that. So we're working with them to get that in there. The teachers, it's required. We cannot delete it for teachers. It has to be there in order to tie into their, you know, all the stuff at the state level that they need access-wise. So we're doing what we can, but, you know, this is a failing of epic proportions by I read yesterday, the company that owns Power School, they paid $5.6 billion for Power School when they bought it a few years ago. And this was the way that the hacker got the data was nothing we could have done could have blocked it. There was no controls or anything we had in place. So, you know, to giving somebody the keys and not paying any attention to it. So, but yeah, the states right now, they're telling us to report to, what was it, the comptroller and some other governmental accounting things to abide by this Tennessee law that says they have to be reported. We're doing those things, but those things don't help us.
So to answer Diane's question, do we direct it to Mr. Bond?
Mr. Bond, myself, Mr.
Okay.
Beatty,
Mr.
but
Beatty, okay.
yeah.
Direct what?
A response.
Questions from the, well, I mean,
We've
you know
done-
you know how many responses I got to the postings that we've made so far?
Zero.
None.
I think
There was more chaos on Facebook about closing school yesterday
Yeah.
than this generated it all, which blows my mind. But it's like,
It's above our pay grade. We don't
well,
get
I
it.
think it might be that so many people are getting hit so often now, it's becoming known.
My child got her information through Children's Hospital.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, it's
just,
the sky's falling thing, and people just get tired of it. So,
We've been as proactive as we can be,
yeah.
and I appreciate Mr. Bond. He's been
Absolutely.
on it since the beginning.
Just begin him and Mr. Bond.
And
Mr.
he's
Tom,
been
yeah,
in communication
staff.
with the state and every other actor that could be involved with this,
And
so.
Independent Herald wrote a good article about it, and they interviewed me on that, and so, you know, that was kind of an unbiased review of it as well, and that will, at least for the school system's perspective, that should go to show that we're in compliance for all the steps that we could take to notify people.
And we did. And
Yeah, if we'd have had school, we'd have sent a notice out, you know, that first time.
Mr. Bond made a very detailed notification to the staff.
Yeah.
And we sent a more general notification out that I had prepared. So we felt like notification was the most important thing to do, and to stay in contact with PowerSource and the state, and we have. And we'll continue.
On adjournment.
One thing before you adjourn, wanted to mention, I don't remember if we discussed this at the meeting, but I've got notification from East Tennessee Development District that Scott High School, because of its age and because of its unique architecture, is getting ready to be placed on the National Historic Registry. And I've checked to make sure that there is no downside to that. I don't think there is. But it would open up other grant possibilities, including grants for structural improvements. So I suspect that that's going to happen in the next few days, but I just wanted to let everybody know that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That's great. Vote on roll call.
Mr. Shelton? Ms. King?
Yes.
Mr. Stanley? Dr. Murphy? Mr. Silcox? Ms. Smith? Ms. Kidd?
You called me?